Hello dear followers of Betv, welcome to this TV program. It's Apprendre avec Betv. So I'm your host, Gad Brighton today, and today we are going to learn more about this language, which is very important. When I'm talking about this language, I'm talking about English. First of all, I'd like to tell you more about this language, and after we are going to learn more about this amazing language. First of all, what I want to talk is about tips about learning this new language. First of all, you have to know that when you're learning a new language, for most of the time, tip number one, you have to become a toddler. A toddler is a kid or a child just learning for first steps. So make sure you put yourself into the shoes of that kid so that you can know how to learn this language, any language. So you consider yourself as a toddler. You have to, first of all, consider yourself as a toddler. So you put yourself into the shoes of that kid who wants to learn a new language. It's like when you want to learn any language, you consider yourself as a toddler so that you can know the language. Because any language is new for you, so make sure you consider yourself as a toddler to know it. A second tip is just to practice. Practice every day. Practice every day. So by practicing every day, I mean that talk with people, chat with people who speak the language so that you can really improve more about your speaking skills. Because in the language, you have 4 skills of the language. We have a listening, we have a speaking, we have a reading, and we have also writing. So those 4 skills are very important in any language that you'll be learning. So practice every day. I mean, talk with people. Talk to people every day. So don't be shy. No matter what mistakes you may speak, but speak every day. Speak. Just practice every day. It's going to help you when you're learning this amazing language, which is English. Another tip that is very, very important is just don't be shy. Don't be shy. What I mean here is most of people, when they speak a mistake, they just take it for granted. They just feel like, okay, it's just they're a victim of the mistake. But the mistake is there. First, today you speak a mistake. After tomorrow, you will be speaking very good. Another tip number 4, is just listen. Just listen to songs. So listening to songs will give you much more energy to know what songs and also the lyrics of the song that you'll be watching. And those songs, which are especially in English, are going to help you when you speak. Because those people who wrote those songs, they wrote them in a way that they are native speakers of that language. So they write it in a way that they swallow some words. So it's not easy to catch some words they say. So that's why for the songs, you will need lyrics to know exactly how the song is written so that you can know why they swallow some words. Another tip for learning English, after listening to the songs, what you have to do now is just memorize some words. So when I'm talking about memorizing some words, you have to consider yourself that in your brain there are many rooms. When I talk about brains, there are many rooms. So when you speak Kirundi, there is a room for Kirundi. When you speak English, there is a room for English. When you speak Chinese, there is a room for Chinese. When you speak French, there is a room for French. So first of all, consider yourself. In my room, what is it in my room? Is my room very full? So that's why I have to memorize some words, especially when I talk about vocabulary. So make sure you take time and also memorize those words, because you'll be needing them in a conversation. You'll be in need of them when you talk to people, because what you'll be talking is all about your daily life. So everything that is around you, which is all over your house. I mean, everything that you see in your house, everything that you see in the streets. So make sure you are curious about to know, why this language? How can I call it in this language? So when you memorize some words, it's all gonna stuck in your memory. It's gonna stuck in your brain. I mean, the room of English is going to be full. So that when your room is full with vocabulary, so we know how to speak in any situation. So those are the 5 tips of learning English. Consider yourself as a toddler. Practice every day. Don't be shy. Just listen to songs and also memorize some words that can help you in your daily life. Let's come back to our lesson today. So today's lesson is all about the present tense. I mean the present tenses. So you may all have this idea, maybe when you pass at school and they say more about present tense. But the way I'm going to resume them here is very quick, and also know how to use this present tense in an amazing way. So for present tense, we have four present. I mean, first of all, we have present simple. Most of the people call it simple present, but in a technical way, we call it present simple. We have also present perfect. We have a present perfect continuous. So you can call it continuous, or you can replace continuous by progressive. It can be continuous or progressive. We have another present, which is present continuous. Present continuous or present progressive. We have present perfect continuous, and we have present continuous, only present continuous. But let's come with present simple. Present simple or simple present. Most of people call it simple present, but technical way it's present simple. So for simple present, what you have to know is that we have subject like I. We have you, we have a he, she, it, we have we have you, and they. So those are the subjects that we have in English. We have I, we have you, we have a he, she, it, we have we have you, and they. So what I want to focus is that most of the people know how to conjugate any verb in present simple. It's quite simple. So let's consider like the verb to have. You may say, I have, you have, he, she, it has, we have, you have, they have. But this is not the lesson of the day. But the lesson of the day, I want to focus much on the third personal the third personal subject, which is very important. It's he, she, it, where we have the S for most of the case. So make sure for the verbs that ends with S, the verbs that ends with S, the verbs that ends with SH, the verbs that ends with CH. Here, when we talk about the verbs which ends with S, we may have the verb like to kiss. To kiss, that is to kiss. It ends with S. Okay? We have SH, the verb that ends with SH. For example, we have like to wash. To wash, there is CH. Here there is S, but here we have SH. For the CH, it's like the verb to watch. To watch. To watch, there is CH. CH. What you have to know is that when you conjugate these verbs, for the third personal, you have to add ES. ES. What I mean here is, for he, you say he kisses. There is ES. You have to add ES. He kisses. She washes. You have to add ES. It or she watches. Watches. So those verbs ending with S, with SH, or with CH, for the third personal, you have to add ES. So that's what is really very important for the present simple. But most of the people, you may know how to conjugate these verbs, but you don't know the use of this simple present. For the use of simple present, it's quite amazing. This is for general truth. For the second use of simple present, it's all about habitual actions. When I say habitual actions, it's the action that exists right now. Right now. Like I can say, like, for the first example, I can say, my father works in a bank. My father works in a bank. So this is habitual action. My father works in a bank. Or you can say, I wake up every 5 a.m. I wake up every 5 a.m. So this is habitual action that is happening habitually. For the number third, you can use the simple present for future reference. For future reference. Which is very, very complicated for some people who know that only you can use future when you use the term will or shall. But for here, it's quite simple. It's quite also applicable for this simple present. Because for simple present, when you want to mean future reference, first of all, you have to know that it can be used to mean future. Like I can give you an example, like I am to leave this country. I am to leave this country tomorrow. I'm to leave this country tomorrow. So many people may think it's a mistake, but when you see this tomorrow means the future. But you see the verb here, I'm to leave this country tomorrow. So to mean that this simple present here, am, with the verb to be, is used here to make as future reference, because we are talking about something that will happen in the future. For the next example that we may have here is the company is to open a new branch in Gitega next year. So when I talk about the company is to open a new branch next year, so you see the expression here, next year, it shows the future. But I'm using here the verb to be to show that the company will open. You can say it in another way, that the company will open next year. But when I use is, it's not a mistake, but it's a future reference. I'm talking about simple present used here as future reference. I'm talking about things that will happen in the future. So these are the main use of simple present. You can use it for general truth that is happening, that is like that. You can also use it for habitual action, to mean things that happen, actions that happen every day or which are like that. We can also use for future reference. For future reference, when we use simple present to mean the future. Actions happening at the time of speaking. We have an example, you are watching Betv. Or you can have like my mom or my mother. For most of Americans, they use my mom. My mother is cooking dinner. My mother is cooking dinner. So these are the things happening right now. So it's happening at the time of speaking. You can also use present continuous or present progressive for actions for future reference. For future reference or planned programs. For Americans, they write programs with one M, but for British, they write programs with double M and ES, like French. But for American, they write one M. So when you see it somewhere, don't be surprised. So make sure those are Americans who write with one M. So actions for planned programs. For planned programs, it's like when you are, take an example like you are leaving the country tomorrow, or you have another appointment tomorrow. So when you want to talk about these actions for planned programs, you will say like, let's take an example like, we can have an example like, I'm leaving Bujumbura tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'm leaving Bujumbura at 3 p.m. tomorrow. So here I'm using I'm using present continuous because it's already planned. It's already planned. What I mean here is like I may already have a ticket with me. So when you have a ticket with you already, so you are leaving tomorrow, so it's planned. It's planned. Another example that we can have that the president is opening a president is opening a new school next year. So it's future. You can see it's future, but it's reference. It's already planned. So the media has already spoken about it. So it's already planned. That's why we can use it as present continuous. Let's see another present, which is present perfect. Present perfect. So present perfect, what you have to know, I'm going to show you the structure, how to structure this present perfect. For the structure of present perfect, first of all, you have to know that present perfect is used on a time. Let's take a timeline. A timeline where we have an action here, which this is present, this is past, and here we have future. For this timeline, what I mean here is that for the present perfect, it's an action from the past and also happening even right now in the present. So it's a process from the past to the present. It's also happening right now. For the structure, for the form of present perfect, you have or has plus the verb in past participle. Past participle. So it's have or has plus the verb in past participle. So most of the people have already learned about irregular verbs or regular verbs. For regular verbs you add ed. For regular verbs you add ed. But for irregular verbs they are very, very complicated. That's why I have to find out the list of irregular verbs and also memorize them to know how to use these irregular verbs, because they are more and more complicated. For regular verbs you can have like play, played, you add ed, play, played. But for irregular we can have like the verb to teach, which is not teach it. It is not teach it. You don't add ed, but here is taught. So that's why we call it irregular. It's irregular because you don't add ed at the end of the vowel. So what I want to mean here for the form of this present perfect, you have to take take have or has. This is auxiliary have or has plus verb in past participle. We can have like forget. For forget, this is simple past. This is simple past. Simple past, for to forget we have forgot. For past participle we have forgotten. This is past participle. Forgotten. So you check your tongue when speaking. Forgotten. So here, what I mean here for this is the verb to forget. To forget. When we have simple past forgot and past participle forgotten. So for this present perfect, you take have. Like I can say I have forgotten. I have forgotten. When saying I have forgotten, you can see that it's present perfect, because I have the subject I I have the auxiliary verb, which is have, and also have forgotten as past participle. That's why you have to add past participle to make it present perfect. So to me, what I show you is that for the structure, it's an action that happened in the past, but even now it's also happening. That's why we have I have forgotten. So it's actually past, which is not too far. It's close. It's close past, which is not too far. I can say like, I have forgotten to bring the key this morning. I have forgotten to bring the key this morning. It's an action that happened early in the morning, but it's today, but it's not really far past where we can use simple past. It's just close to the present. That's why we have present perfect. So for the present perfect, make sure that you know more about this past participle, because there is a long list of irregular verbs. So for the present, that's what we have. We also have present perfect continuous, which is the last. The present perfect continuous, which is the last one, because this is the third and this is the fourth. So the structure or the form of present perfect continuous, you take have or has plus been plus verb in past participle. We can have an example like, let's take another example. You can say I have been playing. What I mean here is the verb in ing form. Sorry, it's the verb in ing form. I can say I have been playing football. We use present perfect continuous to talk about things that happened in before, but has a duration of time. Has a duration of time to mean that it's not a time that it took only 1 minute. It can also take 1 hour or more. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for following this TV program. So we see you in the next program. So thank you very much. So keep on practicing this language, this present. See you. I was with God Brighton.